DJ.
Ini masana kelai boss ini. Ini masana kelai boss ini.
What's up, you guys? It's Alicia Burden here with my boy Sikwitit. What's up?
What's up?
So there's been a lot that's been going on since the last time I seen you. Now, I'm a big fan of you. A lot of people out there is jumping on board right now because he has a lot of stuff going on right now. But we're going to get into that later. But how did you end up with the name Sikwitit?
Sikwitit. Actually, I've had it for a long time. I used to produce a lot for a lot of local cats here this early when I got started, and guys literally would come into the studio and be like, man, that boy's sick with it. And my guys kind of gravitated to it. That were part of my team, and it kind of stuck. So ever since then, that was like way back in the day. So yeah, that's kind of how it derived, and I feel like it fit, and even now it fits even more. So yeah, sick with it.
Has music always been a passion of yours?
Oh yeah, since I was a little kid. It's in my family. My dad is into music. My sister's into music. My dad used to play a lot growing up. He had his own band and stuff, so I would go to his gigs, and I would get on stage and act like I was part of the band. And so yeah, it's always been a part. Just growing up, listening to it, wanting to be a part of it, and just maybe early on I was an artist, and then I developed being a producer. So.
See, I was going to ask you that because a lot of people go into music, first wanted to be a rapper, first wanted to be a singer, and then they find the love of actually producing the music behind it. That was your story.
Well, yeah, I mean, because what happened was early on, I didn't know anything about music. I just wanted to rap, and so what I would do is I would get instrumentals that I could find, some old CDs that had instrumentals at the back or whatever, old maxi singles and stuff like that, and I would use that, and it just got to a point where I was like, man, I want my music to be my music. I don't want it to be somebody else's that I'm rapping over. So I had vowed to stop rapping until I could learn how to make my own beats. And so that's what I did. I picked up a keyboard. My dad had a whole bunch of them around, and I first played being at his house and messing around with keyboards, and that's kind of how it all started.
So who would you say is before all this really started happening, was your biggest influence in music?
It's definitely my dad. Has been my biggest influence, but if we're talking on a big scale, industry scale, I probably have to say I listen to a lot of West Coast music, so obviously Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg were huge influences on me, and then Timbaland as well with the whole Missy Elliott movement. I really just gravitated to their styles, and I kind of felt like they were so different, and I wanted to express that in my music. It's like, man, I'm different. I want to be different too, So I try to maybe model a little bit of what I was doing at that time after those guys in hopes to be great someday.
So out of all the things that you grew up with, influenced by a whole lot of things, what I guess what I'm trying to say is, what did you start doing to prepare yourself for exactly where you're at right now?
When I was in high school, I did talent shows, and I would win, as an artist. And then after that, like I said, I had a keyboard. I was playing on my keyboard. I really didn't know the ins and outs of how to get in. I was just making music, and so I guess it was a way that I was kind of equipping myself and practicing. So recently, as an artist, we did shows and we traveled and that, but recently as a producer, I decided to get into beat battles. I felt like beat battles were probably the best way to get exposure and people to hear my music.
So I know that 2013 was a big year for you.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened in that year.
2013, it started in March, and I went to South by Southwest. I entered into a beat battle with me and a partner of mine. We have a producer group called The Church, and we tore the house down. It was my first beat battle that I had ever won, and it was just a great feeling. I went back a month later in Austin, did a beat battle, another one, and won, and it was just kind of like a domino effect. That year I ended up doing I think 9 beat battles total, and I won 8 of them. which was really cool. I was undefeated up until the last one, so it was just a great experience because I really didn't go in with the intent to win. I went in with the intent for people to hear my music, but the good part of it is I won, and it just kind of gave me that extra push as well. So.
And you were also, for those out there that don't know, you was also part of the team, the first actually Texas team to go into the international beat battle in the South by Southwest. Go ahead and tell us, how was that feeling going into that, representing Texas, representing D-Town out of that?
Well, I thought it was really cool because fast forward a year later from the very first beat battle that I did in Austin, and I'm on the biggest platform for producers at South by Southwest, and it was Texas versus Canada, first international beat battle ever, and I got picked out of, it was me and 7 other producers from around the state that got picked to be part of this team, which is really cool. We got to link up with Symbolic One, who's a major producer in the industry, and we also teamed up with Space City Beat Battle. They're the one who put it on, and basically we had the chance to showcase our music at one of the biggest festivals, you know, ever in music. And so it was really cool because our event, we had about 12,000 people RSVP to go. Now 12,000 people couldn't fit in there, but it was really cool because we were like, man, people are really trying to see what we're doing here in Texas, and it was really cool. So the platform, you go from the very first time, even though it was out South by Southwest, it was just a small beat battle, and then you go to one of the largest stages at South by Southwest a year later. So it was great for me. It gave me great exposure, and it was a very humbling experience. It really was.
I'm gonna ask you a serious question right now. A lot of times people get into this music industry for a lot of different reasons, and they go through a lot of different things. What can you say has been your hardest time, or the hardest thing that you've dealt with on the path to success?
Transitioning my love for music, the one thing that I've always done because I just loved it, and I would create and carve out time to do it just because I wanted to transitioning from that to making it my business. You know, you look at it, now I have to look at it as a job, and it's hard to, I still want to have that love and passion for it, but you know, sometimes we associate working for the man with the word job, and so I gotta convince myself on a day-to-day basis I am the man, I am my boss, you know what I mean? So it's hard because there's a lot of politics, there's a lot of business side of things that you need to tend to, the marketing, the branding, you name it, and trying to develop who you are as a producer, and sometimes it takes away from that creativity and producing the actual music. So trying to find a balance between that's kind of been my biggest struggle, but we're definitely getting there. So.
See, I've heard a lot of people say in Dallas that they start out in Dallas and they grind and they grind and they work, and it seems like it's hard to make it out of Dallas, like they have to travel elsewhere. What do you have to say about that?
I disagree. I think there's a lot of, I really think it's all in your perspective on things. Dallas has shown me so much love. I've been on the scene here for a little over a year, and I've got nothing but love. I've got nothing but opportunities. You know, you have your hot spots in the nation of music, with, you know, New York, Atlanta, California. I really strongly believe that Dallas is going to be one of the next melting pots for music, you know what I mean? I really think this is going to be a to-go place, and so yeah, I venture out and I submit music out, and I travel and I try to expand, but that's what any musician should do. You should never just stay home, you know what I mean? So I take advantage of every opportunity here, but I also take advantage of every opportunity outside of here, and I just try to be the best at what I can do. I mean, be the best at me as a producer. So I don't think you have to leave to make it. You know what I mean? I think you should stay true to who you are. If this is where you want to stay here and make the best of it. And then, of course, venture out and let other people hear your music.
See, there's a lot of people out there that look at you from the outside because they're seeing all the great things that you do. Now, for those out there that's getting this exclusive interview right here, what is it that you would want to share with those out there that don't know what it's like to be in your shoes?
That's a good question. It's a good question because some things you don't want to let out of the bag, you know what I mean? So you put me on the spot, but it's not all that it's cracked up to be. I know, especially for like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, it kind of magnifies what's going on in your life and makes it something a lot bigger and more than what it actually is. And the truth of the matter is it's a lot of hard work. And so a lot of people see my successes online, but that's on purpose. I want people to see what accomplishments I'm making, because I want to be an inspiration to people. I want people to see that there is hope in what you do if you just really believe and work hard. And that's what I do. Every moment that I'm awake, I'm grinding, coming up with concepts and ideas and trying to figure out how I can further my brand. And you know, if you're not on it on a day-to-day basis, it's really hard to be at that top tier level that you want to be. And as much work as I've done, even though I've grown, I'm still not where I want to be. You know, so I think that's the one thing I would like for people to know, is that don't be fake either. You know what I mean? Don't be posting pictures with somebody just because you want to make it seem like you're doing something big. You know what I mean? Get out there, work, network, post your successes, but you know that it's a constant grind. Don't live off the fame of a social media page. You know what I mean? So really get out there and try to make something of yourself, and know that even though you're giving all and you want to give it all to make it big, you're going to have to continue to do that. It doesn't matter how big you get. I know people that are big now that are still making sacrifices, that are still working hard to not only hold on to what they have, but to continue to grow. If we're not growing, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? So that's I think that's what I would want people to know.
All right, so go ahead and tell us about this whole unity that I keep hearing about.
Unity. Well, I mean, it's more of, I'm just, you know, as a person who's trying to get out there, there's certain things that you want to let people in on with your life, and you kind of have to gauge how much you actually want to put yourself out there. And I think one of the things that is just naturally comes out of me is trying to bring people together and trying to build as a team. You know what I mean? I love the aspect and concept of teams. And so at this point, you know, I've been working with producers all over the city, and we've been going to all these events, and it's crazy because you see there's a natural bond between the producers in Dallas, which is crazy because I don't think anybody really was trying to make that happen. And so, but it really connected with me because I'm that type of person, so I've really been trying to expound upon it and really kind of bring guys together and work with them and say, hey man, let's do this together as a team. Let's really put on for our city. You know, you have the artists that do it already. So from the producer standpoint, the guys that actually make the music that are usually behind the scenes, let's come together and really kind of put some effort into bringing some light to our city for production. You know, I don't know that that's ever happened. But in the time that I've been here, I've never seen that. So I like it because it's crazy. You have the connection from the lowest level producer that just stays in his room all day long making beats to the top tier, like an S1. You know, he's so humble and willing to come down and help where he can. And so, and I feel like I'm in the middle there, you know, and so I'm trying to help however I can to kind of keep this thing growing and keep this thing moving, because I really want to see it succeed in music here in Dallas. So that's kind of where the unity thing comes in with me, and I want to just kind of help, you know what I mean? Whatever I can do to help, that's where I'm at with it. So
That's what's up. So you went from having the illest beats and being called Sikwitit to winning all these battles to joining or creating a squad that's giving back and really networking and bonding together to be successful. And then here it is, I heard through a little birdie that told me something about the I Standard Showcase. Go ahead and tell us what that is.
I Standard, they're a national producer, I guess like a union. They really try to help up-and-coming producers. They create a platform for them, trying to help them get major placements and get their music heard on an industry level. So, you know, they travel around the United States throughout the year. They have these showcases, and what they do is they grab the top producers from each showcase. Okay. And at the end of the year, which is coming up in November, they have what they call Beast of the Beats, and it's their grand end of the year finale. They get 40 producers from across the United States, and they're the top up-and-coming producers, and what they do is they make a weekend of it. They have all kinds of events, and they really cater to the producer and help see what's available to us on the industry level. and then we showcase against one another, and they judge us based off creativity, marketability, just a lot of different things. And the person at the end, whoever has the highest score, wins. People that win, they go on to get in the studio with a major artist to do, some songs. They get sponsored by Monster Energy drink for a whole year. They get to, and they get write-ups in major magazines like Double XL, and they just get the team of Istander to really get behind them throughout the next year and really kind of help get them in a position to where they can be successful. So I've been fortunate to be picked to be a part of that, and so I'll be in New York from November 5th to November 10th. Being a part of that.
You think you're the best producer out there right now?
Hey, I think, you know what, we're all supposed to say yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I do, but realistically, there's a lot of great producers, and you know what I mean? I just want to go up there, make noise, you know what I mean? Be heard, be seen, and let the chips fall where they may. You know, I'm going to do my best, and may the best producer win. You know, I look at it more, with these kind of competitions, I look at it more for the networking factor, because we've had so many opportunities come outside of winning. You know what I mean? Meeting the right people, being at the right place at the right time. And so there's so many ways and avenues you can win without winning. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I want to win. You know what I'm saying? Murder, death, kill. I'm ready to chop heads off. So
represent detail. So for all your fans out there, for all your newcomers fans that's definitely watching it right now, what social networks are you on that everyone can follow you at?
I'm on basically every social network, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, and you can find me at I am Sikwitit. That's it, yeah. Sikwitit. I am Sikwitit. It's Sikwittit.
You already have it. You guys can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Alicia Burton. This is Dallas Entertainment Journal, and we out of this. AEJ.